What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode number 90 of the My Player Career Mode. We are into 90 episodes for the series. That's incredible. 10 away from the magic 100. Usually for the 100, we do like a live stream special or, play a lot of games and do something. I don't know what we're going to do this time, so I guess if you've got any suggestions what you want to see for the 100th episode, let me know in a comment down below. As usual, thank you for your incredible support over the last couple of episodes. Great to see. So, last episode, we continue Man United's great start to the season. They were still unbeaten at the top of the Premier League table. Not only that, they were playing a lot, kind of like, I guess, Manchester City are in real life, They're running away with it, they're dominating games, and just they look unbeatable at the moment. And things are looking pretty good, because their running of games, like for the next few games, look actually fairly simple in the sense that the games in which I think they should be able to dominate and get the victory. So the first one here is against Brighton at the Amex Stadium. Of course, they are considered tough opponents, though, having beaten Arsenal in real life. Not too many days ago, actually, from this video. You're going to watch it. So we have to be a bit careful here going into it, especially Ben. He's got to be a bit more conservative and just create chances here and there and try and pull the strings. And one thing I've noticed, actually, about the fact of Ben Wood is that as he's getting older, he's getting a lot more, I guess, calm on the ball, and just in general, he's dictating the pace of the game without having to actually run the ball. He's using his passing ability in order to, dictate the pace, which is good to see. But Brighton, to their credit, were the better side in this one. 37 minutes in, the first chance of the game presented itself, and it was ever so close to going into the back of the net. And as we continue to the second half, same story, really. Brighton on top, and they look the more dangerous. Guedes going close here, and I've probably butchered that name, so I apologise if I have done. Very, very good footwork to get himself in, but, David De Gea, it takes something special to beat the Spaniard. That one, not quite good enough to beat that man in between the sticks. But then, with 15 minutes to go, United, they created their chance, and it just so happens it's that man that it will fall to, and it is an incredible left-footed volley to give his side the lead away from home. Tell you what, there is not much that the goalkeeper can do against this one, because I think the fact that he takes it pretty early, Ben, he takes one touch before smashing it, and just the sheer quality and pace on the strike as well, it's difficult for the keeper to be able to stop. So you can't really have any complaints against the Brighton goalkeeper. I did feel kind of harsh on them, though, because, as I said, they were the better side pretty much for the first half, and in the second half they were continuing to put the pressure on, but you got to take your chances. They only had one opportunity, which was of course Guedes, and he missed it because David De Gea made a good save. So other than that, it wasn't the greatest performance from Manchester United, but as I say so many times, it doesn't matter how you play. All that matters is that you get the right results, and that's what happened in game number 1 when Brighton fell to a 1-0 defeat at the Amex Stadium. Another game that they should be able to win here for United is Leeds United at Old Trafford. Some consider this a rivalry, but for me now, I don't think it's that much of a rivalry as it used to be back in the day, of course. Leeds have been out of the Premier League for a little bit of time. I suppose when the games do come around, they're still, heated and all that other stuff, but when I think of a rival, I think of teams that you're playing against on a regular occasion, you want to get the better of on every single occasion. So Leeds and United, traditionally, they had a rivalry when Leeds were a Premier League side, but now they're a Championship side, you don't see it as often. So, anyways, nice to see Leeds United doing okay, though, in the Premier League. 10th place, 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 defeats from their opening 15 games. Not a bad place to be currently, of course. Coming from Leeds, it's nice to see them doing well, but in terms of this one, I would much prefer them to watch them get smashed here by Manchester United. In the sense that Ben Wood is in the side, if this was a real-life game and Ben wasn't involved, I would have to swing the way of Leeds. But because we do have Ben involved in this one, we want to see him win. Therefore, if he can win, that would be the best-case scenario, of course. But anyways, that is a decent side that Leeds have got. Not one, though, that should worry Manchester United at all. And the first chance, 15 minutes in. A lot better play here than what they played against Brighton at the Amex. It took 15 minutes. Ben on the ball, trying to find his pass across. It took a deflection on the way through, but a quality finish from Milik in the box gave Manchester United the lead here at Old Trafford. As I said, quality on that finish from Milik. He's got his back to goal. He's got a lot to do with this one. It doesn't really come at the slowest pace either, but he just gets enough on it to hit the post and make it go in. So Videvald in between the Leeds United sticks can do absolutely nothing to stop that one, and it is Manchester United taking the lead. And as I put in last episode's title, they look unbeatable, and I'm sure there will come a time later on within this season where they've got to kind of dig deep and try and find the right results. So although it's looking rosy at the moment, don't be expecting this to be a continuation. I'm sure at some stage when we get into the swing of the Champions League and when everything rolls around, that United might struggle. It might be quite tough for them. So anyways, Into the next highlight, again, United pretty much just dominating this game. And Milik inside, and it came to Anthony Martial, who hit the outside of the post. To be honest, I think he's got to do better. I think that should be 2-0. United should be home and dry in this one. I don't know why he's going to the near post. I'm sure if that had gone in, I wouldn't have been asking why it was going near post. But it didn't, and I feel like he should have scored that one there, the Frenchman. Into the second half as Ben looking to use his skill on the edge of the area and tries to take the strike on, but it's a good save from Unbeatable. Again, though, pressure is on Leeds to try and stop them scoring. Good turn from Ben, gets away from his man, drives into the area, fires the ball across, and this is quality from Gelson Martins. I've said it before, I've called him all, rubbish and all this other stuff, and I've said how bad he is when it comes to on the ball sometimes, but this season, I take it back, because this strike here showcased the turnaround that I think Manchester United in general have had, because last year, finishing a point behind Chelsea in the league, I say it like it was a bad season. They still won the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, but we wanted the league and the Champions League. This year, they looked a lot more clinical with their chances, and just in general, in games like this, where they might have struggled last season, they certainly don't anymore. That strike from Martins is quality. Unbeatable tries his hardest to get back across, can't do it, but all the credit goes to Martins for that volley, because it was a sensational strike, and he still had a lot to do in the game. And in the end, United did come away with the 2-0 victory. So, all in all, a good day at the office for Manchester United, and I would say as well that what they had to do was dominate the game and do it professionally, and they did that, especially with the second goal from Martins' quality on the ball. So Ben doesn't get credited the assist, even though he played a major part in both goals. The first one was deflected, though, so you can't really say that. So other than really saying that he did that, there wasn't really too much else to show in the game there for him. But another one of these games that look like it should be a victory for the dominant Manchester United at the moment is Huddersfield Town away. Brighton, Leeds, Huddersfield, they're not exactly the most tough games that we're going to play this season. Obviously, they can still cause upsets, and they still have a very good side that on their day can beat Manchester United, but you'd like to think the way they're playing currently, they're just going to be too ruthless for these sides. So, again, going into this one, feeling pretty confident. I did see a comment on one of the previous episodes that was regarding the fact that Ben was a 5-star skiller, and to maybe, use different skills here and there, and possibly he should be doing that. But then the problem is as well, if he does it and gets it wrong, he's going to have United fans on his back. He runs the risk there. So I understand him doing it when they're 3-0 up, when they're 4-0 up, and he has this kind of little bit of, window of opportunity that he can try these skills out. But until they start dominating these games and winning by 4-0, it's really or 3-0 for that matter, it's he doesn't want to do it when it's still 0-0, So he will pull out certain skill moves that he knows he can actually pull out in games where he knows he can actually do them on the first time of asking. For certain ones, though, it's quite difficult if you've never done them before or tried them in a game. So the ones that you see, the little Berber spin and all this other stuff, I'm sure he's more than capable to do those. Every time of asking, it's the other stuff, like the elasticos and, the round of the worlds into the flicks. It's just crazy stuff that he can do, but he's probably not really game ready with them yet. So in this game, as I said, he looks a lot more better with the way he's distributing his balls this season and the way he's passing the ball as well. 21 minutes in, the first goal of the game appeared. Anthony Martial, after Ben lays the ball out wide, we were talking about his distribution, and it's a fantastic pass that gets them involved. And then it's actually Gelson Martins with the assist here. Dinks it towards the back post. Martial gets a right-footed shot onto it. Not really the way I would have gone personally, but luckily for Manchester United, it worked out, and they took the lead here against Huddersfield at the John Smiths Stadium, and that is now a 0-0 to Manchester United. I spoke about their ruthlessness, and it seems like that's a recurring theme here. Again, they were dominant. 33 minutes in, Martial back inside. Lovely play from Manchester United to create this chance. Ben, a little bit of space, not really too much to aim for in the box, but somehow he sees what I couldn't do and finds Gelson Martins, who just literally lets the ball hit him on the foot, and that is what takes it in. The pace is on the cross. He doesn't really need to do anything with it. Side foot, there you go. 2-0 Manchester United. Got to be honest, I didn't necessarily see that pass on, but Ben did. So credit to him because he got an assist and it put United 2-0 up in the game. So, again, we're looking at this game and just saying that although this is one of those games that United should be winning, it's the way they're going about it. They're not giving up too many chances and they're just ruthless when it comes to on the ball and attacking. And that showed for the third goal, not letting Huddersfield really get a foothold in the game. Ball through to Lukaku and he smashes this one into the top corner. They look so clinical. That's my best bit about it this year. Last season, they were frustrating sometimes, being inconsistent in games like this where they maybe wouldn't score. It would end up being a 0-0 draw, and you just think, what on earth is going wrong? this season, it's a totally different story so far. They look so good on the ball, and they are so good off it as well defensively so far, that I think this is going to be their year to win the Premier League. Potentially going to be Ben's last season at Manchester United, so it would be nice to go off on a bang. And that bang would be a Champions League and a Premier League double. But there's still a long way to go to the end of the season, so we're still going to have to wait and see if that's possible. Huddersfield, they did create a chance. Payne with it, inches away from finding a consolation in the last few minutes. That would have surely sent John Smith Stadium on an absolute eruption. But, unfortunately for the home side, it's a 3-0 defeat. They didn't really do too much to keep them quiet today. You've got to keep the players quiet, otherwise they'll run rampant. And that's exactly what happened for Manchester United. So 3 wins so far from their first 3 games, and also 3 clean sheets. That is the best bit about it. So very happy with the way things are going currently. And as you can see there, Liverpool actually beat Manchester City by 2-1. Let me say this. City going into, I think, if it's not this game against Liverpool, certainly the game after this, are 1 point away from the relegation zone. Now, that's crazy enough to be saying it, but I don't know if you guys watch Chesnoy Gaming. If you don't, check him out on YouTube. He does a similar thing to what I do in terms of career modes. He is just playing a Southampton 1 where Liverpool have just been relegated from the Premier League. Are we about to see a similar situation where Manchester City could be heading back to Championship football? Imagine the scenes if that happens. So, as I said, going into game at Old Trafford here, Manchester United versus Liverpool. This one's a big enough game as it is. It's a rivalry, of course. That is how the league table looks, so it is going to be the next game that you'll see Manchester City kind of low down in the division. Liverpool, though, not having a good season themselves. 13th place currently. They would love to get back to winning ways by beating Manchester United here. But for the United fans and the home fans in the ground, this one's an important game. They may be running away with the league, but anything less than a good performance here will not do. They could afford to lose this and not have to worry about anything else. The fans won't let that happen, though. The side from Liverpool is decent as well. They've got a good kind of lineup, but there's a few players that maybe I would not have used personally and probably would have sold on if I was Klopp. But anyways, that's why he's the manager and I'm not. So Coutinho created the first opportunity. We knew he was going to be a bit of a danger man. Now currently playing his trade at Barca, of course. Goes down the left, gets it inside. Lovely little ball into Drussi. Drussi backwards to Rabiot. Rabiot back to Coutinho. His cross is so good. In towards the head of their number 7, the captain on the day. But I have to say, at first, my first thought was, is that not offside? And then the second thought was, how has that actually gone in? Take another look at it from this replay. I can say it's not offside. It is played onside. You can see there is a man that is playing him on over to the left-hand side of the screen. But the header is so bad. It literally glances his head. And David De Gea is somehow beaten by that. That is the 3rd goal conceded by this Manchester United team so far in the Premier League. And that's the way they've conceded it. So I was very disappointed, to say the least. They did try to get themselves back into the game, though, before the second half. Pogba's free kick into the side netting. So close for it being 1-1. I think, actually, that is one of the closest free kicks we've had so far in this series. And it's frustrating because I want to see Ben take a free kick, you know. And I don't know how to make that happen. Whether or not he's got to improve his free kicking accuracy, I just don't know how to make it happen, and it's frustrating me because I want to give you guys a free kick goal at some stage in the series. But nevertheless, into the second half we go. Ben, he had to grab his team by the scruff of the neck and say, listen, we've got to get back in this game. And that is a sensational run. The thing that annoyed me about it, though, was his finish. His finish was so weak, but he kept up here, finds Lukaku in the box, and let's just say, if United weren't in the top of the league and hadn't had the luck they've had recently, this one will not go in. Question marks for offside on this goal as well. Lays it across to Lukaku. I don't know exactly what's happened there to Jack Butland, but you've got to say he's got to save that. So, arguably 2 goalkeeping errors for this one. David De Gea beaten by a very weak header, and then Jack Butland already going to ground before the shot really came in from Lukaku. On another day, if both keepers had, played a bit better, maybe this is 0-0 still, or maybe one of the sides have 1-0 up. But regardless, for United, they're back on level terms here, and they were looking to find a second. The ruthlessness didn't let up. Ben here, edge of the area, got Emre Can trying to mark him. He beats him, though, gets inside, crosses to unmarked Jota. And Diego Jota, for me, has to score. It's not exactly a free header, but he does have a bit of time to think about this one. But instead of getting on target, he heads it over the top of the crossbar, and that is a disappointing finish from the wide man there. So, still 1-1 in the game, 18 minutes left. That was the way the game ended. United with a couple more chances, but overall, I'd say both teams will be pretty happy with a point from that one. I bet Liverpool would have loved it if they could have, stopped United's unbeaten run. One thing they have done, though, is stopped United's winning run. Because until that point, United were on something crazy like a 14-game winning spree. So Liverpool stopped that with a 1-1 draw, and it would have been scenes if they'd have been able to stop it by winning the game and knocking out United's unbeaten run. But as it stands, it continues on. 18 games unbeaten so far in the Premier League this campaign. So can they keep this up, or will they fall short before the 38? The only team to do it so far in the Premier League has been Arsenal, of course. I'm hoping that can be a case where Ben can join the Invincibles list. The final game, though, comes from Selhurst Park, where Palace will take on the unbeaten Manchester United side. Palace at the moment in 11th place, Manchester United up in the top spot. So Ben, player to watch, most goals in the league campaign so far, most assists as well, playing very much like Christian Eriksen did for Tottenham last season. However, we do have potentially the player of the year coming up shortly, so we're going to see who's going to get it. My shortlist of the players of the year probably would include Eriksen and maybe Ben as well. Of course, Eriksen was instrumental in Spurs' lineup last season. Unfortunately, though, didn't have the quality to take them all the way to a Premier League title, but he got the most goals, most assists, and he had something crazy like 32 goal contributions in just ridiculous amount of games. So, yeah, he would be on the shortlist, probably Ben, and I'd say one of the Chelsea players that helped them win the league. But this game against Palace, we saw it last season. They have actually beaten Manchester United once in Ben's time here. And I tell you what, it was a tough game, this one. Comparing it to the way they've played throughout the entirety of today's episode, they were disappointing here. Pogba going close, and that was literally United's only real chance of the game so far. And from the goal kick, disaster happened for Manchester United. Loftus-Cheek finding Mahrez. I don't know how on earth they had this side. It was a decent team as well from Palace. I have to say, Loftus-Cheek is a quality centre midfielder. Bitten caught on the ball now. Finds Junker left-hand side. Plays completely unmarked in the middle. Instead, it goes all the way out to Mahrez, who flicks it on to the number 10. And Crystal Palace take the lead with around about 20 minutes or so remaining. United's unbeaten run on the line here at Selhurst Park. Completely just ridiculous how it went in. And I thought to myself, this is typical Manchester United. Playing unreal so far, and then when the pressure got to them, Palace shouldn't be the side that stops their unbeaten run, but that is how it was going to be. Because 2 minutes from time, Palace were the side on top. And they looked like the side that were at top of the table. Not Manchester United. United looked like they were playing for relegation at this point. They were so bad. From the attempted goal kick, clearance, Ben trying to get his side on the attack. You can see there's literally him, Lukaku, two other players driving forward. Good goalkeeping here. Stops Ben from crossing that one across. And maybe he should have done better with it. But that just summed up United's afternoon. And somehow, when they played so well for 18 league games, going unbeaten in their first 18, it's come to an end here in their game at Selhurst Park. I didn't know whether or not I should be angry at that. I mean, I knew at some point the unbeaten run was probably going to come to an end, but the fact and the way it happened, with United playing so badly, it's frustrating. It really is frustrating, because if they'd have played well and got beaten, by a Palace side that, thoroughly, played as well, then fair enough. But the fact of the matter is, Palace literally didn't have anything to worry about. And for a side that's the top scoring side in the division, and a side that is so good and ruthless, as we were talking about earlier, I'd say United didn't live up to expectations there. So Palace didn't really have anything to worry about at all for that one. So disappointing way to end the episode off. But let's not let it get to us, 19 games in, to have your first loss after 19 games, it's not bad. And you would like to say as well that the way United are playing, they could probably go another 19, only losing one game as well. 12 points separate them and Spurs at the moment. Arsenal in third. That is the league table currently. So City were actually a point ahead of the relegation zone earlier on in the episode. I got it wrong. They end the episode, 5 points away from relegation? So a little bit of work to do for City, but I don't think they'll get relegated, It'd be crazy to see it happen. But as I said, I don't expect City to be in the Championship next season. Anyways, that is how today's episode will end, guys. If you have enjoyed it, a like, rating would be greatly appreciated. As always, you guys are incredible for all of the support you show me. Let me know what you think we should do for episode 100 of the series when it rolls around. And just to show you as well, as we end the episode off, United, where they should be strengthening probably in, the defensive stature side of things, they go out and buy another striker for 68.5 million. Yeah, I don't know what Mourinho is thinking. I wouldn't have done it. I think they need another centre-back. But hey, Mourinho, he's the manager. He does what he does. And signing Sanabria, who probably won't play a single game for Manchester United, is the way forward. Regardless, I will catch you all for another episode of this series very, very soon. Make sure you stay tuned, guys, because we're hoping to have a double upload tonight for this Friday, getting you into the weekend right. Let's do it, guys. 4 p.m, 6 p.m. I'll catch you all in a couple of hours for another video, guys. See you all then. Adios.